Ooga booga, my fellow bearers. Welcome back to another episode of the Berachain Ecosystem series. Today I have Hunter from Thrive on Mars with me. Hey Hunter, how are you doing?
Doing well. Hello, everyone. Ooga Booga, BM, and all of the other ways to say hi.
Yeah, I love it. Love the culture here. Right, maybe with the first question, could you share with us what Thrive on Mars is and maybe share a little bit about yourself as well?
Of course. I'll start with myself. My name's Hunter. I'm the founder of Thrive on Mars. I've been working in technology for over a decade. Started my career at Apple as an engineer working on the Apple Watch, iPad Pro, various other products, and then moved to Magic Leap, which was and still is a augmented reality company building holographic computing experiences. That's where I really started getting into how to build games. And what we were doing there was some pretty crazy games around basically like aliens popping out of your walls, holograms. We had things where you could build like essentially a holographic Lego set and put that around your room. So learned a lot from some amazing people. Met people from tons of different game studios, Rockstar Games, Epic Games, all that stuff. And then after working there for 5 years, I decided to do what I've always really wanted to do, which is to start visualizing a Mars settlement and building that out. It's always kind of been a hobby of mine. I've read lots of Mars books. I love sort of all of the science behind it. I am a huge fan of any kind of Mars game, Mars movie, etc. And my hope is that eventually we can get there one day. And what I started realizing is how quickly the technology to get to Mars is actually progressing. And so I decided to take my background in design and engineering and apply it to helping spread the word about the way that we can actually settle Mars using real technology and make it more appealing, designed, and also fun to engage with. So that brings me to Thrive on Mars, which we started it in 2021. It's a game studio that is building various interoperable games that tell the story of humanity's multiplanetary future. So we have the first game, which we released in 2023 called Mission Control. This is a real time economic simulation game that was built on the Wax blockchain. It's gained lots of popularity over there. And we have like about 9,000 people playing it, about almost 50,000 people collecting NFTs. And it's a really fun game for people who love economic simulation. Now, the second game, which we'll talk about more today, is the Outpost Surge game. And this is launching exclusively on Berachain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a turn based strategy deck builder on Mars.
Gotcha. Right, and you mentioned how you were particularly interested in like Mars. Like why Mars specifically over like so many other planets and like in the moon and all?
So Mars was once a warm and wet planet just like Earth. So if we can get there and study how it formed and learn more about the planet, we can actually learn a lot more about Earth and its origins. It's going to also give us a clear idea of what life is, because if we can find life on Mars, we can look at it and see if it's similar to life on Earth, or if it's different, then that gives us answers that we've been asking, scientists have been asking for thousands of years. So Mars is the closest possible planet that we know has water on the surface and underneath. And water is typically where life is. So it's really exciting for the science element. The other part is that it's going to, I think, change the trajectory of younger people to get to Mars, because when we landed on the moon, it really encouraged a lot of young people to get into science and technology and mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, there's an issue with people wanting to maybe become less interested in real engineering and science and design, and more interested in, a lot of the technology jobs right now are about optimizing ads or working in things that, take attention away from people. And, it's where the money is, and I get that. But if we can get more people inspired by going multiplanetary, I think it's going to inspire a generation to pursue physics and engineering and mathematics and science, and all of that's super important to progressing humanity forward. So Mars is that beacon of the adventure and the pioneering spirit that I think we've lost a bit as a human race. And I think the moon doesn't do that because we've already been to the moon and it's great to go back, but it's not going to inspire people like Mars will, which is a planet 39 million miles away. And if we can get people there and self sustaining on the planet, then it's really going to inspire people. Now, there's other areas in our solar system that could sustain life. So, a couple examples are Venus. Venus is closer to the sun, so it's extremely hot on the surface, but you could actually create a floating city in the atmosphere. So that is a possibility. And then we also have Titan, which is a moon, and that's been explored as well. But Mars is really the closest possible planet to sustaining life. Really, the only thing you need to produce on Mars that you need to sustain life is oxygen. But oxygen is plentifully available in the atmosphere on Mars. And if you use some engineering, you can make it easy. So all the other things you can produce on the surface to sustain life, like food and water, and even produce rocket fuel from the atmosphere and water to power rockets to go back to Earth. So you could make a round trip. And most people don't realize that. It's not a one-way ticket. You can actually produce the rocket fuel to get back to Earth, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing and answering my curiosity. Right, I don't know much about space, so I am going to take whatever you said as the truth. I do not know if that is accurate or not, but I hope so. And it is interesting, right? I mean, I'm not such a major geek or like not know all about space, but it is pretty interesting. But today we're here to talk about Outpost Surge, right? So maybe let's hear from you, like what is Outpost Surge and how does it work?
Yeah, so Outpost Surge, we're basically combining roguelike games and deck building games into one, Mars themed game. And so it's a turn-based strategy game, and it's basically like if you were to take Civilization, which is a super popular hex-based, turn-based expansion game, and something like Slay the Spire, which is, more of a roguelike deck building game. If you were to combine those two and put it on Mars, that's essentially what Outpost Surge is. So what you start with is a deck of cards. Each card basically is a piece of Mars technology. So a card would be like a solar panel or a fission reactor or a supply chain engineer astronaut or a fuel plant. And you build your deck of 50 cards based on what the abilities are of each card. And then you load into a game with 20 random cards. And your goal is to expand as far as you can and have a prosperous settlement. So you play the cards onto a hex-based board and they start producing resources for you. And those resources can be used to pay for more cards to like go onto the deck, or not the deck, the board. And the bigger your settlement gets, the more resources it produces. And with the excess resources, you can complete missions that are scattered across the board. And the missions give you points, and those points allow you to rank on a leaderboard. And the leaderboard is where you can earn token rewards. So that's kind of the premise. There's obviously some more nuance to the game. So there's things like hazards, which will hit and damage your cards. So you need to manage the health of everything on the board. And you also have resource limits. So you can't produce infinite resources. So you have to figure out how to strategically play items onto the board so that you have a balanced resource chain. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main gameplay.
Okay, sorry, I didn't catch how we could start the initial cards. Like, do we have to mint them somewhere or like just allocated some random cards when we log in for the first time? Or how does it work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are still working out exactly how to make it easy for people to try the game. What we'll most likely do is allow people to try the game for free with a preset deck of cards. But for ranked modes with token rewards, we'll most likely have the cards be NFTs that you purchase using the in-game token.
Got it. And the token will be available for us to buy on Berachain, for example.
Yes, exactly. And in terms of tokenomics and all that, we're still working out the details. We're very focused on making the game great right now, but
Mm-hmm.
the intention is to have the token launched on Berachain and also have all the NFTs on Berachain. So everything would be Berachain exclusive.
Okay, got it. Right, and you mentioned it's a turn-based game and like there's a board, right? So are we playing against other players on the same board or how does that work?
That's another really good question. So the first version of the game will be played against the environment. So there's your deck, which is the Mars technology, and then there's a NPC that has a hazard deck. And those are different things like dust storms, static storms, viruses that are played against your deck. So at the end of every turn, the hazard deck, the next card gets played in that deck. And so your goal is to combat those hazards by healing and shielding things and making sure that your items don't get wiped off the board. So the first version is PvE, but we are getting feedback from some testing that a PvP element would be great. And so what that would look like is two players load onto the same board in different locations and they expand to complete missions and earn more points than the other person. So that would be something we would be able to add into the game later on.
Awesome, great. Thanks for sharing that much better understanding of how Outpost Surge will work right now. So if I'm not wrong, you guys are in testnet now, right? How can we get involved on testnet? Is it open to everyone or is it like a closed beta right now?
Yeah, so right now we are pre-alpha. So as of this recording, which is May 17th, the team is testing the game internally right now. So the best way to get involved immediately is to tune into our weekly Discord testing sessions on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. UTC. And that's in the Thrive on Mars Discord. And that's where we get the initial ideas. People are giving us feedback as we stream the gameplay. Very soon in June, so in a couple of weeks, we will release the first gameplay build for people to test. The way to get into that testing group is you need a Berachain. And Berachaims are PFPs that we are launching on Kingdomly, which is a minting platform. Since Berachain mainnet is not live yet, we've minted those on the Arbitrum network. However, we would like to migrate those over to Berachain when it's ready. But the mint is actually live right now, so you can go and mint one, and that gives you essentially a game pass to basically play the closed beta early game builds. And they also come with a ton of utility, token airdrops, an initial set of the Surge cards, which are the Mars Tech cards you need to play the game. We also have some physical items that we'll be sending to Berachain holders like posters and sticker packs. And there's a ton of other sort of Berachain ecosystem utility for Berachaims. But that's the best way to get started early and get involved in the game. And we're also going to be rewarding people who help test the game and have a Berachain with additional rewards in that testing period.
Gotcha, gotcha. And could you share like what the main details are? It's on Arbitrum, it's live right now. And what is the price of the mint?
Yeah, of course. So the max supply is 3,499 Berachains. There was an allow list, which you needed to participate in some campaigns that we did through the month of April and early May. And the allow list price is 0.049 ETH, and there's 1,500 slots there. The public price is 0.059 ETH, and we really took the value of the rewards you get from Berachains, and we looked at what's the best possible price we can charge these at. And so we have them at the best possible price based on the value of the airdrops and the physical goods and all the in-game items you get. So it's a really great value. And think of it almost like if you were to pre-order a game on Xbox or PlayStation, the pre-order of the like legendary or limited edition pack, it's typically a little bit more than the regular game pack or game pass. So it's almost like that, but it comes with items that of course are related to the blockchain. So you can go ahead and sell those if you want, or trade them or collect them. So yeah, it's a really, really cool NFT as well. It's basically our astronaut character with a bear helmet. And the bear helmet's like a custom designed astronaut helmet with some bear ears. So we also think it's going to be one of those very collectible Berachain items. But yeah, the mint details are Arbitrum1 is the network, kingdomly.app/bearnauts is the link, and the allow list price is discounted 0.049 ETH, and the public mint is 0.059 ETH.
Got it. Awesome. Yeah, so I will put the mint link down below in the description box. So for those who are interested, and if it is still available when this goes live, go for it, guys. Yeah, so you mentioned that there are other incentives for holding the Berachain at PFP NFTs, right? So for example, additional token drops and all, and within Berachain ecosystem. So my question now is, what other partner integrations could we expect from the Outpost Surge or from holding the NFT itself?
Yeah, so we're doing one very unique thing with them, which is we have different tiers of rewards based on the traits that your Berachain has. So not all Berachains are the same.
Ooh.
There's basically 3 different tiers of rarity. So there's standard tier, epic tier, and mythic tier. So mythic tier, you roll a mythic trait, and it's about a 0.5% chance of the total supply that you get mythic, and you get like a massive token airdrop, huge amount of cards, and then you get the maximum amount of physical goods that will be sent to you, like real world collectibles. The epic is sort of the second level of giveaways. So you have still very generous amount of crates and cards. And then, you have sort of the middle tier of physical goods. And then the standard is the baseline. It gives you still the early game access. It gives you a good starting amount of cards, a starting amount of tokens, and a few simpler sort of physical goods. So it's tiered, which I think will be really fun because maybe you get one that's standard and then you decide, okay, I'm going to go and try for one that's a little bit more rare. And so that's a little bit of like a gamified element of minting, which we actually did in our first game, and that was quite successful. So we wanted to try that out since we haven't really seen that in any PFP launches or any prominent ones so far. So we thought that would be really cool to do. But yeah, there's the baseline gameplay utility and the airdrops. But then also we have other games that are in the Thrive on Mars ecosystem. So for instance, if you have a Baronaut, you'll be able to unlock a unique skin for the Martian Residents game, which is coming out later this year. You'll be able to use your Baronaut PFP in the mission control game, and we're also going to have like discounts for Baronaut holders for other games that we have in our ecosystem. So that's one additional like utility for them that's just in the Thrive ecosystem. And then we are working on the tokenomics for the Berachain token that will be inside of the Outpost Surge game. And within that, we're talking with other ecosystem projects about how to maximize liquidity and maximize rewards utilizing bribes and various liquidity pools and protocols. We'll publish more details on that in the coming weeks. But just to give you context in terms of the partnerships and the relationships we've formed so far in Berachain, we did a really cool marketing campaign with 10 ecosystem projects to celebrate the launch of the game. And those included partners like Kodiak, we had Baradrome on there, we had Baraland, Gummy, Yeet, Honey Jar, Goldilocks, Stacking Salmon, Shogun. So we had like all these ecosystem projects, And of course, those are naturally transforming into conversations about the right way to launch the token and NFTs.
Awesome, love it. Just one question on the token. So, if I'm not wrong, you guys already have a live token for the previous game, right? So, would there be a separate token, a new token for Outpost Surge itself?
We are currently deciding and figuring out if that's the right way to go. So we obviously have our current token in our current game, and we will definitely keep people posted on that. We'd like to either bridge the current token we have to Berachain or go with something that's separate. So one or the other, but we're still figuring that out. The game play right now is really our focus, making it as great of a game as possible. And the token details maybe it could be kind of a follow-up episode with yourself.
Yeah, sure. Happy to do that. And yeah, I think that's great. Definitely open to do that and happy to do so. And my next question would be like you guys, since you guys already launched previously on another game on another blockchain, right? Like why Outpost Search on Berachain now?
We think that Berachain is going to be a hub for gaming. There's obviously a really great consensus mechanism with Berachain and a fantastic community. But what will make Berachain so strong is developers and utility for the ecosystem. And we think gaming is one of the best ways to utilize a really strong chain. So there's various, reasons for Berachain specifically to be a great gaming chain, including, low gas fees, a close affinity for NFTs and collectibles, which is, I think there's no other chain that really has a community that understands, I think, NFT culture better than Berachain. I think it's so unique in that regard. And because the mechanics of the proof liquidity are also strong, it allows for some really unique ways to encourage replayability of games. And that's something that we'll lean into as well. So we've always taken the stance of trying to be as innovative as possible with in-game features that are blockchain based. And so we would like to continue that by going with a chain like Berachain that will be open to innovative gameplay features, whether it's recording leaderboards on chain and using some interesting game engine mechanics like World Engine is one that we're looking at that's Berachain affiliated, but also just having the close collaboration between projects, really exciting ecosystem for not only like token benefits, but also having the NFTs work across different ecosystem projects, and then also bringing in other ecosystem projects to add value to our game. So that culture is very incredible on Berachain, and we think that these things will make it much more exciting for a game like ours to work really well on the chain.
Got it. Right. And thanks for sharing there. One final question before we go off. What else can we expect from Outpost Search in the coming weeks or maybe even Thrive on Mars in general in the coming quarters?
Yeah, so right now we are still in development. We will launch closed beta in June. Closed beta, again, is for bear not holders. We plan to be in that closed beta period, getting feedback regularly from users for about 6 to 8 weeks. So from June to August. And then August, we'd like to launch the game in open beta for everyone. And that's also when we would like to launch the token and the other major like rewards, the NFTs, all that stuff. So all that would go live. Then, of course, we're also looking at when will other Berachain initiatives be launched and aligning with that timing, since we are all very early still. And then later this year, our focus will shift to PvP modes, making it as strong of a mobile game as possible, and then distributing it on mobile platforms. So we're looking at emerging market Web3 mobile providers as a distribution pattern, and also, the Google Play and App Store for distribution. So yeah, those are the places that we're going to be focusing on so that we can get the game launched to as many people as possible.
Awesome, love it. And I think that is all for the intro call with Outpost Surge today. Before we go off, Hunter, do you have anything else that you want to talk about that you might have missed?
Definitely go check the website out, thriveonmars.com. And if you want to learn more about the games, all the info is there. There's a great page about Outpost Surge, which has gameplay, trailers, and footage. Join our Discord for weekly updates on the gameplay. And we'd love to hear ideas and incorporate those into the game. So definitely go check out our Discord. Our Twitter also is the place for a lot of the news and updates to be posted. So check us out there. We're basically Thrive on Mars everywhere. So at Thrive on Mars on Twitter, our Discord's just Thrive on Mars. So definitely get involved in the conversation. And, the best way to participate actively is to purchase a Berachain right now. So go into Kingdomly, and we're going to keep that mint live throughout the closed beta process. And think of that as like a game pass for not only the closed beta game, but also really exclusive benefits as the game gets built out. So yeah, those are kind of the main call to actions. And we hope everyone enjoys Outpost Surge.
Nice. And for those who are interested, all the links will be in the description box down below, right? Discord, Twitter, website, all there. So hit on there and click on those websites, get yourself involved. And with that, we have come to the end of this episode, right? Thanks, Hunter, for taking the time today to share with us more about Outpost Search and Thrive on Mars. We will see you in the next episode.
Sounds good. Thank you.